Alright, we need to talk about this game. If you're a fan of Metroidvanias and Souls-like games and the isometric perspective, then you need to play this game. This is Death's Door, developed by Acid Nerve and released on July 20th, 2021. In Death's Door, you play as a crow working for what seems like the corporate version of, well, dying. You show up to your hub, or your headquarters, and you're given a target to go defeat and obtain their giant soul. Upon obtaining this giant soul, a larger crow smacks you right across the head and steals your giant soul from you. And now, of course, you have to go track him down. When you finally do, he introduces himself to you as the Gray Crow, and he's trying to open a giant door that's standing behind him. This is Death's Door. Death as in the Reaper. The only way he can open this door is with giant souls, specifically 4 of them. 1 that he just stole from you, and 3 others that are throughout the land. And now you have your new mission, so you can finally begin your game. Go get 3 new giant souls and open Death's Door. See, I told you guys we weren't going to be doing a 2D pixel art Metroidvania. The first time I played this game was about 2 years ago, and I actually made a video of it that's deeper on this channel. I'll link that video right here. Although do be warned, it's an entirely different style of video than what you're watching now. Those were more full playthrough videos and attempting to be funny in the process. These are more just subjective reviews. Now, the first time I played this game, I only ended the game with like 7 achievements, and this was before I really cared about getting achievements at all. And recently I've been having the itch to play this game again, and I told myself I was going to 100% it this time around, and that's what I did. I got every achievement in the game outside of like the 7 that I already had, and let me tell you, I would do it all over again. Okay, let me stop glazing this game for a second and actually get into the review of it. First stop, combat. The combat in this game is incredibly smooth. Your main damage mitigation in this game is obviously going to be your roll. If you've played any of the Dark Souls games or Elden Ring or really any game that's got a roll or dodge mechanic, you're going to be very comfortable with this. You can spam the roll over and over again, and it actually works out for you because the hitboxes in this game are perfectly designed. In this game, you have 5 different weapons that you can use. You start with your little lightsaber looking sword, and in the main hub, you can get your umbrella, which is all of the footage you're going to see behind me is me doing my umbrella run, because it's an achievement to beat the game with only the umbrella ever in your weapon slot. Each weapon has a certain amount of damage that it does and a certain amount of swings that it does in your combo, as well as the speed of your swings. For example, the little lightsaber looking sword that you start with does 1 times damage. The umbrella does 0.5 times damage, which is why there's an achievement for it. My first playthrough of the game, I'm pretty sure I only ever used the lightsaber sword and sometimes the big hammer because I'm a caveman and I like a big bonk. You don't ever want to see me play Monster Hunter. You also have magic abilities in this game. You get a bow and arrow, a fireball, a bomb, and a hook shot ability. 3 of these are for damage, and the hook shot is really just for traversal. Each of these, minus the hook shot, takes a little energy bar that you see under the health bar. Most only need 1, however the bomb does take 2 to use. These abilities can also be upgraded to have added bonuses, like the bomb not damaging you if you're too close to whoever you throw it at. You regain the energy to use your magic abilities by simply just melee attacking enemies. So in doing the umbrella run, you really have to rely on your magic a lot. So blending together the melee combat and the magic abilities made this game a lot more memorable than when I had played it 2 years ago. On my first playthrough, I played very unga boonga, hit, roll, ignore the magic, doesn't matter. Weaving in the magic abilities with the melee combat made this a much better experience. Now let's talk about the level design. As per my other videos, you know that level design is usually not my forte, and it's still not. However, I do have a great appreciation for the level design in Death's Door. I just feel like every zone is very well thought out. There's tons of areas that are blocked by gates or explodable walls or levers that you can't quite get to yet. There's kind of puzzles throughout the areas as well, and the isometric perspective kind of adds a layer to that. And that perspective can make some of the puzzles and the hidden treasures a little tricky. There are actually some portions of the game where the camera will literally sweep around the screen just to see your characters. The exploration usually felt up being rewarding. You either got an upgrade for your health or your stamina, or you got a shiny treasure, something for an achievement, and if you didn't, then it led you to a blockage of some sort that you knew you had to come back to later. As a fan of the Metroidvania genre, these are things that I like. Another aspect of the zones in this game are like the little gauntlets that you get locked into. Certain parts of each zone you get locked into this area, and pink doors open up and enemies start coming at you in waves. They vary in difficulty, and there are some enemies that take significantly more hits than other ones, but overall they're not too bad to do, and they just add an extra layer of kind of being wary in a zone because you never quite know when they're going to pop up. Now let's talk about the bosses in Death's Door. While there's only a handful of them, each one of them is absolutely peak. I'm talking this game went 7 for 7 on main bosses. The mini bosses that give you the spell upgrades that I mentioned earlier will bring the game total to 11. The last main boss is pretty much divided into 2 bosses, so that's going to be 12, and then there's the super in-game boss, which will make it a grand total of 13. Each of the bosses in this game all have their specific mechanics, and some of them actually have some kind of puzzly mechanics to them, which is really interesting. For instance, for the Frog King boss, you fight him in an arena that he actually hits the platforms away from you. He's got a hammer on his back that if you shoot it with an arrow, it sends out like this pink energy wave and it brings the platforms back up, so you have somewhere to stand. This is a mechanic that you have to do throughout the zone leading up to him, so I really like how they implemented that into a boss fight. The Witch of the Urns fight also has something like this. See, throughout the zone leading up to her, you have these purple exploding urns that run at you. You also have these green urns that shoot these green ghost things at you that you can actually hit back at them to damage them. The Witch will take both of these urns and throw them at you during her boss fight. So if you've been paying attention in the zone leading up to her, you know to avoid the purple ones and hit the green ones back at her. It's just kind of cool to have the zone mechanics actually play a part in the boss fight. And then about halfway through the game, you get a hard shift of a boss fight that there's no puzzle mechanics at all. It's just a big round yeti named Betty. And Betty is just gonna beat you like a Dark Souls boss. Your mechanic for this fight, keep on rolling, baby. If you're a big fan of quality boss fights, you're gonna like the bosses in this game. I'm not gonna spend too much more time talking about the bosses, as I do have a boss ranking video coming up for this game after this one. Stay tuned for that. Now at the beginning of the video, I already talked about the story a little bit, and I'm not gonna get into the big spoiler parts of it. But what I will say about the story is that I was able to follow along with it. Yay, go me. But no, really, it's a very, very good story. It's very easy to understand. It's not super predictable either. There are some plot twists here and there, and overall it did a very good job of keeping me interested the entire time. Next, I want to talk about the soundtrack of the game. This game has one of my favorite video game soundtracks ever. David Fenn did an incredible job with this OST. I highly recommend you go give it a listen. I cannot rave about this soundtrack enough. I was even listening to it while writing this script. So here we go. This is what's going to get people to scratch their heads a little bit. Death's Door is actually going to get a 10 out of 10 for me. I've been sitting on this review for about a month now, and I cannot think of a single thing that I dislike about this video game. The combat, the art style, the soundtrack, the story, the level design, the exploration, getting all the achievements, the boss fights. All of it was such a blast to revisit, play again, and actually get all the achievements of the game this time. This game does now and probably always will hold a special place in my heart. Now, as far as I've been able to research, Acid Nerve holds their cards pretty close to their chest. So I'm not sure what they're working on, if they're working on anything at all, but man, I cannot wait to see whatever it is. If it's anything like this game, I know it's going to be a masterpiece. If you like what I do, please consider liking and subscribing, and leave a comment down below. I give these reviews because I genuinely want to give my feedback on these games, but also I want to have a conversation with people about them. Have you played this game before? And if so, what'd you like about it? What didn't you like about it? If you haven't played it, are you considering it now? Let me know down in the comments. I reply to every comment that I can. Make sure you check me out on Twitch and TikTok. We're going to be streaming these games as we prepare for the review. I'm trying to catch up on a backlog of videos right now, so I'm not streaming currently, but make sure you go over there and at least drop a follow so you know when I'm going live. But as always, stay safe out there. Peace.